Hi folks, and welcome to a card review for Tassly Beacon of Hope for the competitive commander format. For 1 white mana and 4 Unary, you get a legendary creature human warrior. That's a 4/6. However, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Party is a new keyword mechanic inspired by Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game where you have a group of adventurers with different classes, and the classes for the mechanic keyword is Rogue, Wizard, Cleric and Warrior. So if you have a Dark Confidant, an Occam Adversary, Wizard and Warrior in play, your Tazri Beacon of Unity is gonna cost 3 mana. And honestly, that is pretty decent. That's the same amount of mana you pay for cEDH, and it's not that hard to have 2 creatures in play that fulfill half of the party condition. Personally, I really like this mechanic. I'm a big fan of role-playing games and parties and games like Dungeons and Dragons, so this has a special touch to my heart. Now, mechanical-wise, going for party tribal, different 4-class tribal, is a little bit weird, and I'm a little bit skeptic about going for some form of tribal deck. However, when you start to look into how many good cards we are already playing for other reasons in this game that also for some reason accidentally happen to be Rogue and Cleric. For example, Notion Thief, that is a Rogue, and Alms Collector, that is apparently a Cleric, and these cards are actually already good on their own. Now let's look at the secondary ability, the activated ability for blue, black, red and green, or you can pay 2 colorless mana instead of paying for any of these specific colors. It's a hybrid colorless thing. You look at the top 6 cards of your library, you may reveal up to 2 clerics, rogues, warrior, wizards and or ally cards from among them, then put them into your hand, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. But this ability is also making it possible for you to go past the so-called tribal party thing, because you're allowed to grab 2 wizards, so you can grab both Draenei Magistrate and Spellseeker from 1 activation. But the ability doesn't specify creature cards, it's only saying cards. Therefore, you could grab tribal things like Crib Swap, that is a changeling that got every creature type. It's both rogue, cleric, warrior and wizard. And then you have some wizard tribal spells, you have some rogue tribal spells, so you have a little bit more options. But this ability is also an outlet for winning the game from infinite mana. You basically cast your commander, then activate it infinitely, getting Thassa's Oracle and Spellseeker and a lot of other stuff in your hand. You cast Spellseeker and you find Demonic Consultation, you cast Thassa's Oracle, and then in response to the trigger, you cast Demonic Consultation. But how good is this card drawing ability of Tassry actually? You get something between 0 to 2 cards for paying 4 mana, or sometimes you have to pay a little bit more if you're lacking color fixing. Let's compare it with Kendriff and Thrasius. All of these 3 commanders are quite similar. They have all access to a lot of different color identities. Tassry and Kendriff have access to all 5, and Thrasius is gonna run around with 4 in different combinations. If your Tassry deck is built properly and have a lot of color fixing, you're always going to pay 4 mana for it. And if you have a lot of tribal cards inside your deck, you're most likely going to receive 2 cards from every activation. It would be really sad to pay 4 mana and receive 0 cards. That would be a bit sad. Now, that's the same amount of mana you're paying for Thrasius, and the same amount of mana you're paying for Kendriff. However, it's a lot easier to actually activate Thrasius. You can tap Soul Ring and Mana Crypt or a Gaia's Cradle and basically get 1 activations. That is amazing. You can't do that with Tassry. So it's a lot easier to actually pump mana into Thrasius compared to Tassry, but the value of Tassry is a little bit higher, and if you build it properly, you're probably going to activate Tassry somewhere around 1 to 2 activation from all the mana that you have every turn cycle. In the end, this is my personal opinion, but I actually think that Tassry has the stronger card drawing capacity compared to Kendriff and Thrasius. However, Kendriff actually have 4 other things going for it. He can haste everything. That is actually important sometimes, because you can combo off with your Bloom, Tender, and Free from the Reel a little bit faster, and you can put +1/+1 counters on different creatures that have actually turned out to be pretty good. Gaining life has actually also proven to be pretty decent, and reanimating creatures from graveyards is actually rather amazing. However, Kendriff can't win the game from infinite mana from Basalt Monolith combined with either Kinnan or Sirda the Dawnwaker, but General Tassry can draw out all party creatures from infinite mana because of the hybrid alternative on each color activation on her ability. After that, you need a tiny bit more colored mana to win the game in some form of way. It is a little bit tricky to evaluate these two commanders between each other, Kendriff versus Tazri, which one is better. Tazri has a cheaper casting cost, because the casting cost is gonna be reduced from party members, and the card drawing ability, in my opinion, is a little bit stronger compared to Kendriff and opens other possible IDs and combos for Tazri. However, Kendriff has a lot of other possible activations that he can utilize for various different situations. The only thing people might be a little bit skeptic about is going into tribal mode. Tribal have never really been a thing in cEDH, and I don't think Tassly is going to bring tribal either. But I don't think the tribal demand is gonna be that much of a problem. I think we can find enough cards on the wizard, cleric, warrior, and rogue. Honestly, this deck could turn into a wizard deck, because there's a lot of different wizards that we actually play inside this format. But it makes you a little bit sad when you want to go at power-hungry power level that Imperial Recruiter and Recruiter of the Guard aren't warriors or wizards or something inside the concept, and Dockside Extortionist sadly isn't a rogue. However, a functional combo is Baron, Master Wizard, and Dockside Extortionist, and Baron is actually a wizard we can dig out with General Tassry, and then you need to find a Dockside Extortionist somehow. But this is a great way to showcase the difference between Kendriff, Tassry, and Thrasius, because when you're activating Tassry, you get to look at the top 6 cards of your deck. Compared to Kendriff, you only get to draw 1. Thrasius, you scry 1, then draw 1. So when you're activating Tassry and you already have that Dockside Extortionist in your hand and you're looking for Baron, you're going through your deck so much faster. While at the same time you're not affected by Narset Parter of Veils or Notion Thief. So as a final review and summarization, I'm pretty sold. I think this is gonna turn out to be a decent and functional and potentially great cEDH deck. The moment you have a 5-color commander that can win from infinite mana, that is something to be respected. I think this is a deck I'm going to play quite a lot. I like the toolbox option giving decks, and looking at the top 6, that is a big impulse. From there I can choose different options and different pathways I want to go with. Also, I enjoy creature decks. I don't think I'm gonna go for some form of all tribal rogue cleric warrior thing. I think my deck is going to contain a lot of wizards, a few warriors, maybe some clerics that are good, like I'm going to have a Grand Abolisher, I'm going to have a Notion Thief, but I'm not going to go heavy on rogue and cleric just to reduce the casting cost of this thing. I might have an ally. I guess there might be some ally that are worth having inside this deck. As of now, I don't know if this is going to be the best possible deck you can build in cEDH. I'm not saying that, but I definitely think that this Tassry Beacon of Unity is something that's gonna show up and really pack a punch on the cEDH gameplay and format. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.